What's up, all you beautiful? Look at you. And you know, those. I'm right now. I'm looking at my three favorite girls in the industry when it comes to different categories. Lauralie is my favorite bikini girl, and she probably knows because I'm very vocal, especially when I do a broadcast. And of course, everybody know me and Natalia. We have our thing, you know. And Andrea, the champ. How you doing, champ? It's been a while since I talked to you.
It has been.
Yeah.
We talk over apple pie backstage, you know?
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Natalia, she's over there in Brazil. First, congratulations on your win this past weekend. Kicked ass. You've been kicking ass now for, how many shows did you win now?
Who's keeping count?
4 shows.
4 shows, back to back to back to back. You know, I mean, you're kicking ass. So are you going to shut it down now, or what's happening?
Yeah. So my plan was to do the Arnold after the Olympia, but of course we didn't have the women's physique at the Arnold. So I'm like, let's do the New York show because I've never done this show before, and it's such a prestigious show. However, 2 weeks before the show, I was ready, and there was JM talked to me. He's like, we're gonna have the very first time women's physique in the Pittsburgh show. I'm like, no way. I'm ready. I'm getting ready for the New York show. Why not to just jump in this show? Because, you know, it's a big title, very important show. So I did the Pittsburgh show, and then 2 weeks later, I did the New York show. And then now I'm in Brazil. I just completed last week. So it's been a few shows, 3 shows this year, and 2 last year after that.
We got some audio issues right now with you and Natalia. Your audio just kind of went out for a second. Say something.
Natalia.
Yes, I can hear you now. Say something so we know if your audio is working or not.
Oh, okay. I'm saying something.
Now I can hear you again. Lauralie, you how many shows did you win? You've been cleaning up too.
Okay, champ.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because me and Natalia kind of have the same story, right? But it's the opposite. So I signed my contract for Pittsburgh before the Arnold, and then ending up winning the Arnold, and then here I am, like 8 weeks out from Pittsburgh. So I go to Pittsburgh, and then I'm like, wait, New York. It's in 2 weeks after. I'm ready. You remember you were singing downstairs, and I was like, you know what? Like, these big goals can't wait. But at first I was like, no, I have my trip back home. This is going to be it. It was my 9th show of the season. I was like, this is it. You know, after 9 shows, like I knew I needed rest for a long time. But I think if I'm correct, New York was my 5th title this year out of 10 shows. Or 6, I can't remember, something like that.
That's crazy. That's crazy because, you know, when you look at the guys, they don't even have the opportunity, I think, to compete as many times as bikini because everybody seems to have bikini show. So, you know, but it's good to see that you guys keep competing and not just qualify and then sit home like this one here.
Guilty. Totally guilty. Totally guilty.
You know what, Andrea?
I'm chilling until November 5th.
I was just about to say, you know what Andrea does? She waits to get a new car.
Yeah.
You know, and this will be the 3rd car. You know, in a couple of years she'll open up a dealership selling used cars.
It's funny.
Jay Leno style. I'll get the garage. You know.
Huh, Natalia?
No, I'm saying like she's not competing, but she's literally every show, every event, she's always there. So
she's representing the Miss Olympia, and she's representing the federation and the sport, and that's absolutely what you should do.
Wow.
And I appreciate that, you know, to see her. She's guest posing, she's out there. She's out. Just because she's not winning no shows doesn't mean she's not doing her job, you know. So she's doing her job. How hard is it? Or do you feel? Is there different now since you Miss Olympia? Do you feel like there's a bigger responsibility on your shoulders that you have to carry?
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like I have to lead the charge. I have to be the spokeswoman for my division.
Yeah.
And sometimes it means reaching out to, because there's been several women's physique girls that I've reached out to that they're not in the right place. And it's very clear they're not in the right place. And, you know, some female bodybuilders I've also reached out to where, okay, I'm not trying to step on any toes, but you need to work on your posing, or you need to dial in on this. But okay, it's a conversation, so do with it what you will. But yeah, I feel a lot of pressure to lead the charge and to continue to help build up my division, because again, we don't want to see it go away again for lack of participation, right? So like, I'm not happy when I see 3 girls on the roster, 4 girls on the roster. And then I see some of these women's physique girls where I can clearly see that the muscle density, they're in the wrong spot. So, I told the young lady, I said, you know, if you continue to place low at women's physique, then that's your sign. You're not where you're supposed to be. But as the number one, I'm telling you, you need to move. So again, I'm not stepping on any toes. And, you know, I try to make it as gentle as I can, because I'm not a coach when it comes to, you know, like coaching women's physique athletes. I have, but my preference is female bodybuilding because that's where I'm at. But I've been in women's physique, so why not? I mean, again, when you see it, call it like you see it. It's just being honest.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Oh, sorry, Dennis.
Go ahead.
I just think it's very interesting. Do you feel like you had to be like Miss Olympia before? Because that's my thing right now. It's kind of like I have to embody that, like even before getting the title. The title is going to be like, okay, confirmation, and then, but I feel like right now, like I have to do my job, which is like, I don't have a title to show my job, but I'm like, might as well fake it and then you make it type of thing, you know?
Before I won my first Miss Olympia, every day I set an alarm on my phone and I would just say, I am Miss Olympia and Miss Rising Phoenix 2021, 2020. I mean, every prep, I do it. You have to take your mind there, and you have to be in agreement with your speech to make sure that everything aligns with where you want to go.
Right.
So yeah, totally. You better see yourself wearing that big gold medal. Like, yeah, I printed, like, girl, I don't know if you're into vision boards and stuff like that, but yeah, I printed out all of those like pictures that I could find of the gold medal, and I just put them on there.
Yeah.
Put them on there. Take your mind there, and then the body will follow.
Right.
I think it's very well possible that I'm talking to 3 Miss Olympias of 2022. I kind of feel that. You know, and listen, this is not a knock on anybody. This is, I no disrespect to any of the other athletes. I just feel that I got 3 Mrs. Olympias sitting right here in front of me. And you know, with Natalia, it's been close. With Lauralie, it's been close. You know, you guys on a winning streak. You're kicking ass everywhere you go. So it's basically just when you look at the story right now, it all leads up to the end goal, which is the Miss Olympia. And I want to know from you, Natalia, and from you, Laura, because this one here already knows what it feels like. What's going on in your head right now? You know you're right there. You know, with just alone the popularity that you guys have. Your popularity is in your corner. What do you feel you have to do now to just to seal the deal and just to nail it this December?
I think it's about consistency, you know, like I've been very consistent with the shows and the improvement that I've been making. And I just need to make sure that I'm not like going too much, you know, like doing too many shows to the point where my body's not responding. But as of now, every show I feel like I'm improving and I'm getting better feedback and getting closer to the look that they want. So I don't know. I believe if I keep doing what I'm doing, I will get there. You know, everything that I can do that is in my power, in my control, I've been doing. So now it's just gonna wait and see how it's gonna go by December, because a lot of people told me like, why are you doing so many? Like, I'm just warming up my body, or I'm just like getting tired. I'm feeling healthy. I'm good. I'm representing my sport, my category. And if nothing's stopping me, why would I just sit back, you know? And plus, we have like another 6 months until the Olympia. So if I was doing a lot of shows close to the Olympia and it would hurt my prep, I would never do it. But as of now, I'm young. And I want to show everybody what the category is supposed to look like, what we're supposed to do as ambassadors, as athletes. That's my job. That's what I do. I compete. So Yeah, I believe I have to be consistent and just continue doing what I'm doing because I believe it's working. The judges are telling me that it's working. I see the progress. I feel good, and that's my plan.
Laura, how about you?
I think she said the word, it's consistency. And then as of my history, and like you said, like popularity wise, I think we created that on our own, but it's not a contest of popularity. And as for me, I want to win where it's undefeated. So last year I was very close, 1 point, right? But thank God I didn't win. Have you seen the year that I just had? Like I don't think it would have happened that way. And for me, it was all about the mindset. And I had to set myself in a position where I'm able to show up at shows and it's not a spaghetti on the wall and just like, let's hope it works, No, like Natalia said, she's healthy. She's working it. Like, to be honest, like these 10 shows, I just had fun. I had fun. I was happy. I was back of like the Lauralie that I was when I first started. Just, when you think this sport is about the most miserable you get, the better, the most you deserve it, it's really not. And that's why I kept on pushing and going to just show these girls that are just starting that anything is possible as long as you set your mind to it and that you're in a happy place in your life. So
yeah. Have any of you three ever been to a point where you were like where you thought about, you know what, I think this is not for me, or I'm about to give up?
Never.
I didn't think you, Natalia. I didn't think you because you don't even come off your diet.
Like
Never. She never comes off the diet.
No, she will never.
We're at Disneyland. We're at Disneyland, and this girl brings a backpack of food. We just got off stage at the Olympia, and I'm like, let's eat.
Swear.
And she's like, no, I'm not eating. I'm like, oh my gosh, you crazy? I'm going to eat. I want to eat.
I swear, we were here at the steakhouse. She wouldn't even eat a damn dessert.
No, this girl is hardcore.
Hardcore. So that's why I don't think she ever got to that point. But what about you, Laura? You ever were at a phase or at a point where it's like, maybe this is not for me, or maybe this is too much for me. I can't handle it.
So you know what? I think the only time that I ever thought that it was someone telling me that it wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was true to myself at all time, no, I always thought that thing was for me since the beginning. Like that's why I had such a life switch in my life. But the only time it was on someone telling me like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that many shows, or you will never win. That's the only time I would get dark thoughts. But then you just remove that person out of your life and you can understand. That's why that's when this year I understand my environment is everything is energy, right? Like if you don't take care of that things, like it gets to you if you're not strong enough. And especially, I don't want to go too deep because I have these two amazing ladies with me. I don't want to take too much time, but it's
you take all the time you need. We here.
Yeah, girl,
we're listening. We're listening.
But I started the sport when I was 17 years old. So I grew into being a young woman searching for like validation, if that makes sense, without even knowing that I was doing that. But people, after finishing second at my first Olympia, people want to tell you like how you should feel, what you should do, how you should do it, when you should do it. And I didn't realize that up until I was like, wait, it's actually changing my mind. Like, wait a minute, So I think it was after the Tampa Pro, I kind of made a little cleanup in my circle, and thank God, I've been more happy, more thriving. I want to do more in the sport. I want to get more involved with everything. So I'm like, okay, like this is Lauralie, like back, So I think that's very important. That's my recommendation to all the young woman that wants to get there. It's kind of like you have to do it for yourself because when you're in a dark place and like it prep gets hard because the sport is hard. This is like an understatement, right? Like otherwise everybody would do it. But you have to be like really okay with yourself and like really have the reason why you're doing it is only because you want to do it and nothing else. Not the trophy at the end of the day, not anything else. Just you and because you have passion for it. So do I ever thought that was not for me? Absolutely not. But did people try to make me believe that it wasn't for me? Absolutely yes.
Yeah, I mean,
But I
this
didn't
must
let
be
it break.
yeah, it must be the worst when you have someone trying to mess with your mind and tell you things that are not even true. I mean, come on. I mean, everybody who knows just a little bit about the sport, you don't even have to know much. You just need to step on stage for us to see that this is you. And this is for you, you know what I mean? Because you stand out.
Right.
You always stood out, and so does Natalia, and so does Andrea. In your guys' category, you guys stand out. You stand out to me, and and I'm not judging you just now by your physique alone. I'm judging you by the whole thing around you. When you step on stage, it's almost like the stage lights up. Because there's so many beautiful girls. The bikini girls, they all look great. I mean, all of them. There's just different types, but there's certain things that make you stand out, and it's the same thing with Natalia, same thing with Andrea, and that's why I was like, when I want to do this with the females, I said I got to get those girls on, because there's just something about you that attracts me. And therefore I think that, when there's somebody in your corner or somebody in your life that's trying to tell you otherwise, yeah, that's something where you just need to get rid of them.
Do you girls relate? Like, it can be like a family member, it could be like a friend, like someone that you love, and someone that tells you that they love you, but then they kind of like throw those dark thoughts at you, and it's like challenging.
Yes, especially like you said, you started like when you were 17. And I'm pretty sure it was not easy for your friends, your family. The same thing with me. My parents, they didn't understand about the sport. I had to literally educate them. I put my mom to watch like videos and like documentaries and all that stuff of bodybuilding. And I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna show you what this sport is about. It's not just going on stage. It's not just getting lean and dry and getting your face looking like, these girls who don't eat or whatever.
Looking like death.
I was trying to show. Yeah, right, that face. And then, like, my grandmother, she's the first one. Like, when I got here, she's like, "Are you gonna get the death face? You're gonna have the cheeks like inside out." I'm like, "Calm down. It's not like that, you know." So it's a little harder for us when we start young. But that's what I tell everybody. That's the time that the sport's gonna help you the most, because it's gonna make you stronger. You're gonna have to fight with everybody in the whole world for your dreams. You're gonna have to tell them, like, you're gonna learn to say no to a lot of things that you want to say yes, because that's what's going to make you successful.
Yeah.
So
and who's your biggest fan today? It's your mom.
Biggest, oh my God, I love this.
It's so,
I mean,
it's her mom. I love her mom. I just told her before. Her mom is she's so amazing. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I didn't start as young as you girls though. So I mean, I didn't start until I was 24. So, I mean, I had, people telling me, well, you need to be focused on finishing college, and, you're just, maybe this just isn't for you. And again, I mean, back then I was in figure, and yes, I should not have been in figure because my quads have always just been super dominant. I mean, these girls were getting on stage at like 120, 118. I got on stage at 140 and I was starving. And so it was like, okay, it became clear that yes, I was the mass monster on stage even back then. But, there was just a lot of, okay, well, where do I go? So that was my biggest thing. I was like, okay, I have nowhere to go because I wasn't big enough for women's bodybuilding. And back then, there was just women's fitness, bodybuilding, and then figure. And there was literally nowhere else for me to go. So I had to wait. I waited for 8 years before women's physique came along. And, I just trained. And I didn't know when, but I knew that if the opportunity presented itself, I would compete again. So I just had to wait 8 years. But, I mean, there were people who were just at the gym. Oh, well, too bad. Maybe you'll find something else you like. Or, even my mom, she's like, well, if you compete, I don't think I'm going to come to shows. It took my mom until 2018 before she came to a show. And, that's when she finally got to see that, my heart was in it. Like she saw I was taking it serious. Like, yeah, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to change whatever I need to change to make sure that I get to the stage. And if you are with me, then cool. But if you don't want to participate, cool. I love you, but this is what I want to do. And I mean, just like Natalia, my mom to this day, she's my biggest supporter. She still hasn't come to any shows yet, but she's always streaming.
Oh, she's never seen you compete in person?
Only once.
Only once.
Only
but
once.
not.
As an amateur.
So are you going to bring her to Vegas this year?
She has an open invitation. My mom isn't really one for a lot of crowds, so she's kind of like,
Oh,
You know
okay.
what? Don't worry.
I'm not sure with my mom, and we should just all have our moms go together.
I will
go.
bring my mother too then.
Okay.
I was gonna say that. Let's get all
Bring
mothers
your mom
together.
from Germany. Yes.
My mom's the coolest. I swear to God, you guys would love my mom. She's so cool. She's so cool.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, you know I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on trifecta.
No, that's
And then
awesome.
your wife can make us all some good Thai food.
There you go.
Yes, I'm still waiting.
No, this
I'll
is.
eat Natalia's portion because she won't eat hers. So.
Yeah, she won't even finish hers, right? I have a question for all of you, and then one more question. When was the day, and do you remember the day where you looked in the mirror and you told yourself, I think I can win the Olympia? You remember that day, first day? Natalia, I'm going to start with you.
The first time that I stepped on stage, I was 16 to 17 years old, and the moment I won my first show, but as soon as I stepped on stage and I look at the crowd and I felt something that I had never felt before, I said, one day I'm gonna be at the Olympia stage. One day I'm gonna win this show. Like, it was something like just clicked, you know. It was a feeling that I never felt before, and the only thing I could think of is I want to feel that again. I want to feel that for the rest of my life. And that was just like a small show. And I'm like, imagine how I'm gonna feel when I get the title of Miss Olympia. Like, this is crazy, because in a small show, I did like teenager and open category in my first show. And I was feeling like never before. So I was just like super excited. And just like the girl said before, we have to believe. If you want to achieve something, you have to believe. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take. I know, like, sometimes I was super close to the title, but it was not my time. And I know that whenever it's my time, God's not going to let it go. It's going to be my time, and I'm going to take this title, and I'm not going to let it go. I'm just going to, you know.
I'm not going to let it go. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. Laura, you've been second at the Olympia now twice, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you're right there. So when did you first time you realize, like, listen, I can actually win this thing?
So, I mean, the first time that I told myself that, like those exact words, like I could win this thing, was obviously my first Olympia. Like, I was out of nowhere.
So you placed second at your first Olympia?
Yes.
Oh,
Sandy and called me and Angelica and to battle it out. And I'm just like, wait a minute, this is Angelica.
Is this really happening?
What is going on? And at this point I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Is it a back pose that I'm doing? I don't know what's going on, but this is amazing. And I came off stage. Frank Seppi was there with Tony Doherty's, and they were like, who are you? Like, what's your name?
Where are you from?
Where are you from? And that's where like the whole like dark horse underdog kind of like was born from, because Frank Seppi was like, listen, there's 31 girls that are hating you right now, and maybe 32. And I went back to my room, and I couldn't speak English very well back in the days, and I was like, what did he say? Oh my God, that's what he says. Wait, I could win this thing. Okay. And that was the very first time that, you know, I could have seen myself winning, but obviously she took the title. And since that very day, I remember going to the Superstar seminar, and Angelica was there beside me. And you know how Bob is, like Bob asking questions and just trying to like spice things up. And he was like, do you thought you could win this? And I was like, listen, the moment that, you know, God will like let me win the Olympia, I'm going to have big shoes to fill, because this woman right there, Angelica, like I have the utmost respect for what she's been doing for the sport, the way she handled herself, the person that she is. So my time will come in due time. And, you know, I've been second and then fourth and fifth. and I'm back to being second. So everything happens for a reason, and I'm glad I didn't win last year either, because this year is gonna happen for so many reasons that I've learned this whole past year.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? First Olympia, placing second. You walk away. This is like a win. I mean, come on. Placing second. Nobody goes into the Olympia other than Andrea. She probably did. Nobody goes into your first Olympia in a category thinking you're gonna win. Everybody's just like, I was just happy. It's like, if I can make top 10 for us bodybuilders back then. The top 10 would have been awesome. And it was only, my first Olympia, there was only 13 guys. I said, if I can make it in the top 10, and I got 11th. I was like,
just being there, just being there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was a great lineup, though.
Huh?
Everybody was crazy. The lineup that you went against.
Oh, it was unbelievable. And there was all guys I looked up to from the magazines, and I couldn't even believe it. For me, just make it to the Olympia, that was a dream. My goal was just to make it to the Olympia one time, and I ended up qualifying 11 years back to back. So, but like I said, you have a dream, and then you step on that stage. And first, you have trying to figure out, is this real? I'm just trying to, go into Lauralie's head right now, being in the first Olympia. Now, you're a little bit nervous because you're coming. You look good, but there's a lot of other girls that look good. And then they call you. And then you get a call out with the reigning champ. So like, this is 1 and 2. Is this happening? Oh, I probably would have passed out. I probably would have fell over. I was like, hey, you know what? Whatever happens now, I don't care no more. I was here. So, Andrea, question for you.
I knew in 2019. I knew that because I went up against Alicia Young. So I transitioned out of women's physique into women's bodybuilding at the Chicago Pro. So I did Toronto Pro in June of 19. And then the very next month, I went to Chicago Pro. And when I placed second, I mean, my eye was on the Rising Phoenix at that point. But it was like, okay, I got a good chance at really, cracking and winning. And Isabel and I, we had the conversation. She's like, you can totally win. You can totally win. She's all you got to do is make sure you take care of your business. But when they announced that the Miss Olympia was coming back, there was just something inside of me that I just knew. I said, if I give this my very best effort, I know I'm going to win. Okay. I know I'm going to. All I have to do is make sure that I do my very, very best. And when I lost my job in 2020, it was in September of 2020. I knew then. I came back and I told John, I said, John, this got to work because I don't have a job to go back to. Like, this is it. I mean, I anticipated returning to my full-time job. I had a salary, great 401k. And I told him, I said, plan B just got set on fire, bro. Like, I have to do everything to make this
better work. This better work.
It's better work. Better work. And thank God it did. It did. But at that point, I was all in. There was nothing that John could have told me that he wanted me to do that I was not willing to do. All in.
And how hard is it? I'm sorry to disrupt you, but how hard is it to keep that up? Knowing you're the champ, but also, and there's, let me keep it real here for a minute, okay? When I look at female bodybuilding right now, there's the champ, Andrea Shaw, and this is my opinion. This is no disrespect, no knock on any other female bodybuilder. There's Andrea Shaw, and then there's a big gap. I mean, the closest one to you was Helen last year, and she wasn't close. It was not like she was, it was close by points. It wasn't. She was just clear second, you were clear first. So now, how hard is it? And you got to see that too. I mean, come on. There's nobody in your corner or in your circle that can tell you, oh, you got to watch out for this or you got to watch out. Because it's just you. This is my opinion, okay? I don't know about Natalia and Lauralie. This is how I feel. I don't think that there's anybody there that can challenge you at this point in your career. How do you feel?
It's nice to have the thought. It's nice to have the thought, but I don't sleep on anybody.
I understand it. I'm not saying you sleep, and that's why I said this is my opinion. My opinion is you just, when you stand on stage, you shape. is just too good. There's not another female bodybuilder, and let me see this. There's not another female bodybuilder that can challenge you shape-wise. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get beat. You can come in totally off, watery, and look like a water buffalo, and you're going to get beat. Yeah, you're going to get beat.
No, I won't.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying. So basically, your job is only to be you, you know? But, you know, how hard is it to stay motivated knowing that as long as you are you, you ain't got to worry about much? And again, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. But I always keep in mind that I was the dark horse. And you just don't know who may be crossing over from any division, who may be, you know, had that light bulb moment that says, okay, they want to jump into it. So as long as I bring a better package than I did the year before, I try to keep that at the forefront of my mind. Mm-hmm. And at the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, and don't rest on your laurels, because you don't know who may be crossing over, or who may be, you know, who went to nationals and won, or who went to nationals and got their
well, yeah, we're not talking about who can come up. They can become a girl out of nowhere. Be Andrea Shaw too. Yeah. You know, she stand next to you looking like your twin. You know, you never. That would be nice to see.
But as long as I do better than I did the year before, and this is where Sandy was very, you know, straight with me. Okay, you don't need to add any more size. All you need to do is make sure you keep working on your refinement. And Sandy and Gary and Steve, they're really good about like getting back with us and saying, okay, this is all you need to do. Make sure you stay on this. And like Natalia said, as long as I stay focused on those elements, then yeah, I'm going to feel good and confident about what I bring to the stage. But I have zero chill. I think that's common amongst us athletes. Like, even though, you know, you achieve this status, there's still zero chill. I got to be just as hungry in 2020, you know, in 2022 as I was in 2020. And I keep that attitude. So once prep starts, it's like a light switch. I turn it on, and that's it. That's it. There's nothing else except the goal.
It also got to feel nice going into the Olympia weekend as the champ. You know, it kind of feels good, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I know it does. I mean, I don't know what it feels like, but I can imagine.
I love this for you.
I can imagine. It kind of feel good going into this weekend, knowing you the champ, and everybody that gets there.
It's the second most amazing feeling to winning.
It's yeah, because you know everybody who gets there knows. Oh, that's the champ. That's the champ.
Yeah, but so again, I roll though. I stay under the radar. I stay covered. I stay low key. That's just my style. I don't knock anybody who does, you know, their thing, but I just like to come in very unassuming, and I've always been like that, even as an amateur. And I just, you know, I kind of be quiet. I play the background. I'm, you know, nice and cheerful, but you know, I still come to take care of business. So, you know, when I break out the apple pie, then you know.
Yeah, because I can only imagine. You know, I mean, I've been on the Olympia stage 11 times, but I can only imagine what it feels like being a champ. And not just once, just repeating, because the first time, you know, hey, people say you're lucky, you could have been lucky, this and that. Second time, you say you make a statement, you know, and the third time, and I think the more you win, the harder it gets. Because you know how it is. When you win consecutively every year, even though the people know you're the best, they still want to see you lose.
Of course.
There's always an underdog that they're rooting for. We want him to win. We want him to win. So that's why I think it's kind of hard, but it's got to feel really good. It's got to feel great.
It's amazing.
Are you ready to feel like this, Laura? Are you ready for it?
It makes me smile so much because I can feel how she feels. You know, when I said like I'm gonna win this series, it's not to be cocky. It's not because I'm saying that in the air. It's because like
you're confident.
People asked me that question before, and I was like, you know, yes, like I want to win the Olympia, but like now it's like I'm gonna walk in I'm gonna leave my house. Like I already can see me leaving my house right now in December, the week before, and get there and be like, well, in a week from now, I'm gonna earn the trophy. Like it's so clear to me.
It's right there. It's right there in front of you, right?
But don't get me wrong. But that is gonna make me wake up every day, and I cannot wait. Like even though I'm off season right now and I'm enjoying it, I already see myself. September 1st, it's a flip. It's a switch right there. Because I'm like Andrea. Like Andrea, you love to eat, right?
Yes. Oh gosh.
Yes. So people are like, how can you like do balance? I don't do balance. It's a flip of a switch.
Talking about
And that's my balance. I eat a little Cheesecake Factory off season when I can, and then I just flip the switch and period. Like I just know how aggressive I can do both.
Right.
Laura, are you the one that how many damn cookies did you eat at one time?
Oh my God.
We're talking about Juan's my cookie dealer cookies. How many cookies did you have in one day? What's the max? 6 my cookie dealer cookies.
Not in a day, Dennis.
Hey, DJ, there's some big cookies. Them cookies like 2 pounds. Like they heavy.
14 to 1,600 calories. How many?
6.
In
And not in a day, in like a 2-hour period. But please, like at home, never do this to yourself ever.
Don't try this at home.
I swear to God, I ate those cookies after a photo shoot, like a full day photo shoot, and I ate those like in my sofa, just picking, you know. Next thing I know, there's 6 are gone. Next thing I know, I'm asleep. Next thing I know, I wake up in full body of sweat. What's going on? Yeah, but they're good. Those cookies are good. Shout out to Juan and Karen.
Yes,
they know I love them so much.
That's crazy.
I am eating one.
I've heard of the meat sweats, but not the cookie sweats. That's new.
Natalia, when the last time you had a dessert?
Yeah, what's your
Look
thing?
at her. You just see her face? She's like shocked. What do you mean? Why would you ask me something like this? When the last time you had a piece of cake or something?
I don't know. I don't remember.
For me, this is unbelievable.
What's your thing, Natalia? Like, what do you feel like?
I used to love all this stuff, but it's just like
Whatever.
Why? You know,
So, okay, different question. When was the last time you had a cheat meal?
Well, my cheat meals are not like what you expect.
Is it extra half a cup of rice?
It's like exactly what I eat, but more, or just don't count what I'm doing or something like that. So like after the show, my coach told me, go have a cheat meal. So I didn't know how much like carbs and stuff were in my meals, but they were healthy, you know. So I had like a huge plate of like fried sweet potatoes with like filet mignon and picanha, which is a type of meat that we have here.
Mm.
And I don't know, I enjoy eating healthy. It just makes me feel good, you know. So every time that I eat something that is like very greasy or oily, I don't know, I just look at it and I'm like,
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be greasy or oily. But did you never, when you're at home with your feet up, you're watching a movie, thought that you get a bowl of ice cream or something? Never?
well, there are like healthy ice creams that taste very
What
good. and
the
I-
fuck you talking about healthy? I'm talking about the real deal ice cream.
Let
Like-
her have her thing. Oh my God.
No, I tried to convince her at the place here at the steakhouse. She wouldn't. Remember I said we split it?
I know.
She wouldn't go
I
for
wouldn't even
it.
split it with you.
You didn't even eat. I changed your mind at the end of the
Natalia, okay.
She had me
Natalia,
all
wait.
twisted.
What would it take? Like, would you trust me if I was to say, because I would always be honest with you, like, listen, this dessert, it's not worth it. But if I eat something and I'm telling you, like, you have to eat this, otherwise you will miss out on so much. Would you take a bite or not even?
I will try if I feel like, but the thing is like, as of now, every time that I finish a show or whatever I do that I have the opportunity of having a cheat meal, I just think to myself, is that gonna get me any closer to the goal that I have in mind? I know
But it's not going to push you away from it either. It's not going
I
to.
know, but if I don't need it, why should I have it?
Got you.
You know? I'm like-
Natalia, you know I love you,
I
right?
feel like, oh my gosh, I need some sugar, I need something. I would not be like crazy about not having it. I don't mind, you know, if I feel like having it, I will have it. But if I don't feel it, to me, this is like a crazy powerful thing that I have in my hands that a lot of people cannot have it. And I'm like, well, if I don't want to, I'm just
Okay.
gonna not eat it.
Okay, Natalia, you know I love you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can we make a deal?
Yes. Yeah.
We make a deal. All three of y'all. I mean, I'm not worried about Andrea. She'll probably eat it before the damn show. She'll have it pumping up. Can we make a deal that after the Olympia this year, we'll all go have a dessert somewhere where everybody has a dessert? I mean, Lauralie will probably, she have no problem, but we'll just need to convince you to have a dessert with me. If you love me, have a dessert with me. You don't have to finish it, just try it.
I'm down.
You
Let's do
down?
it.
I'm sure she will. There's something about winning that you don't know yet, you know. And winning the Olympia, I'm sure it's gonna bring you some like. I might crave a little cookie or something.
Yeah.
You know, I would love that for you, but I love that you're respecting yourself and just like, you know, there's been a lot of, you know, Instagram, that thing of like pressure of doing things a certain way, a thing another way. The beauty with this sport is that we're all different. And like the second that you embrace that and you're like, I make my own rules. I know my ability of like eating 6 cookies, absolutely yes. And maybe gaining more fat than anybody else in the off season. And I also know my ability of doing cardio like nobody else, like training like nobody else, in, you know, training at my best version of myself. So when you're able to see that and have that and make your own rules, I have more control, obviously, in my off season now because I'm only eating intuitively. But with that being said, before this interview, I had a couple cookies, you know what I'm saying? Because I had a good leg workout. I was hungry, period. But
And here's the thing, like, I'm not telling people that they cannot be successful or they cannot achieve their goals if they have a cheat meal. That's
it's
not true. You know, everybody has their own thing, you know, that's me. Some people ask me, oh, what's the key to have the conditioning that you have? Is that because you don't have a cheat meal? Maybe it's my genetics, maybe it's how hard I work, maybe it's, you know, everything
all 3,
counts.
all 4, yeah.
How far?
Yeah.
How far above contest weight are you going now? Between now and the Olympia?
Usually I go up about 10 to 20 pounds, no more than that.
Do you go up 10, 20 pounds?
I mean, yeah,
Wow.
last time I was 15 pounds heavier. But
What about
the thing
you,
is, like,
Laura?
About that, 10, 12. I'm like 8 pounds
Right now?
over stage weight right now, yeah.
Yeah.
My body's been so healthy since I'm with
because
Kim.
you don't have to add much more
Yeah.
muscle.
Yeah.
You know, you're right there. So
I want to go through a few questions that we got from.
Wait, what about you, Andrea? Like I want to know.
She's swole right. She's swole right now.
You're happy that we split
Well, this year I only had a swing. Well, once I got my eating back under control, I had a swing of about 20 pounds initially, and then I titrated down to about a 10 pound. So I'm about 10 pounds, which is crazy.
Which
because
is
I don't
nothing.
feel like that. I don't
No.
feel-
Which
Yeah,
is
I don't
nothing,
feel-
What was your worst?
especially for a bodybuilder, which is nothing.
What was
Yeah.
your worst, Andrea? Like your worst,
206 pounds.
which was different to like
Contest.
how much?
What's your stage weight? Yeah.
Stage weight was 180, like 181, 182.
You 180 on stage? Wow. I didn't think you were that heavy.
Big, I know, right? Big girl. But I put on 10 pounds of muscle.
You
like
got
that year.
you got big bones.
Crazy.
Yeah, very big bones. My dad would have been like a Ronnie Coleman. If my dad was alive, like he would have been a Ronnie Coleman because he was just big.
Yeah.
Just big muscles. Big, even his mother. These huge calves, like even in her old age, just
Yeah.
big muscular people.
What's the worst you ever went up in weight, Laura? The highest you between contest and off season?
So the worst gap I ever had was when I finished 6th at the Arnold was like my worst placing. I was 115 on stage, which is 15 pounds less than what I've been on stage this entire year. I'm 130 on stage normally. I was 115, very skinny. They were like, never show up like this again. You look horrible. And I went all the way up to like 156 that year. Like
How
just
tall are you?
eating 5'8".
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My biggest gap was, shit. Me and Melvin Anthony, we came back from the Olympia. We drove back from Vegas. We went to my house. And then we started eating Sunday through Friday. And we both gained 50 pounds in 6 days.
Wait, you ate? What did you eat?
We just ate basically everything. We were just eating. We were just 1 week. We just were doing nothing but eating. We went from one food to the next, and we both gained 50 pounds. And I remember when he left back home for California, he drove home. And that night, he called 911 on himself.
Oh my
No,
God.
man, I was so sick. I swear to God. And that's what, after that, I've never done it again. I've always stayed, especially right after the show, I always ate clean for the next month or two to stay, first of all, this is the time where you want to take pictures and just be, because going 50 pounds in 6 days, it feels
It's
terrible.
Just, oh God.
I can tell you, I was miserable. It was crazy. I mean, my face, I would look like I was Chinese.
So
And it's terrible for your health. I mean, that's not good for your heart. To gain that much water, just the water weight alone, it was ridiculous.
And I think me, like, what helps me like cap it off, because I'm very like intuitive right now. Like, you don't see me like weight my food or whatever. Which again is part of like the whole balance thing. But what keeps me in check is my training. If I eat and it's during my training, like there's no way I'm going back to those cookies. I might try cookies once, and if my training is shitty the other day, like I'm not gonna eat again. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I don't think you trained that week. You were just eating, right? If you just eat, you're fine. But if you eat and train, and your training is injured because of the food, that's when I'm like, no.
Yeah.
All right, I want to go into some questions that we got I posted some this morning for any fans who want to watch the female roundtable to have some questions for you girls. And I'm going to start with, I don't even know what this one means. And this comes from, you probably guys know who she is, Allison, I think Worrell is her name. She competes. She's a midget, if I can say that.
Oh.
But I love her. I follow her. I love her. Yes.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes.
sweet.
I think this is coming from her, and she says, "Team spoon or team fork?" Now I might be stupid and don't know what this means, but maybe you guys know. Team spoon or team fork?
Oh.
Yeah.
Spoon. Baby spoon.
Fun. So
Can you let me know what that means? Because I have no clue.
Yeah,
No, we should not let him know. Not kidding.
I don't know. So have some sisterly love.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What does that mean?
So what she's not.
podcast,
Say what?
you can.
Go ahead.
What?
I'm telling.
Oh, I was gonna say in the Fuad's podcast, they have this thing that some of the guys use spoon to eat, others use the fork to eat,
Oh, okay.
and then they start eating who eats how, and then Fuad was saying how he eats, and then Nikki was sharing, and they start this huge bowl to see who eats how, with what.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's more questions for you. It's more questions for you. Were you eating how like bodybuilders with their Tupperware and goes like this? It's there with a spoon. Like
Yes.
you ground beef and rice.
Oh, okay.
I tell you about me. Oh, no, go, Andrea, you go first because you're the bodybuilder. I'm retired.
I'm probably more team spoon. Team spoon.
I'll be honest. I'm off season, spoon because I just want to get it in. Pre-contest, now I'm starving. There's not a lot of food in there. I'll take either the smallest spoon or a fork, so you can't get as much at one time.
Or
so
chopstick at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah, exactly. That's what I would do. Okay, so now I thought I don't know, maybe this means something that I don't know. Anyways, there's another question. This is for all three of you girls. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? This is coming from, what's her name?
My mom probably.
Fitential Fitness. All right, let's start with Andrea. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Prayerfully, I'll have another 5 Olympia titles, right? Like that'd be great.
So you
but
see yourself still competing in 5 years?
That's the plan. As long as I still feel good about competing and I still stay in a good space with it, yes. I want to get into contest promotion, so that's something that I've been around it a lot between being around Linda and John and just helping them put on their shows here. So definitely that's on the horizon for me, and just seeing what other ways I can potentially help impact the sport. Who knows? I mean, I want to keep my options open, but also going back to school is something that I'm kind of debating on now.
Really?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just want to close that chapter too somehow.
Exactly. I mean, I have a goal to get maybe one more degree, and then
Can I ask
that-
you in what? Like,
So I'm thinking about, and I know this is really ambitious, either physician's assistant school or med school.
Oh, really? Med school? I mean, hey, why not?
I don't have kids
Why
right now.
not?
So,
Why not? Why not?
like, and here's the thing. I feel like as a whole, our community needs more open dialogue about what's going on with athletes. And it needs to be from a very reputable source, right?
Mhm.
Somebody who's been in the lifestyle and somebody who has the medical background to explain to people how not to F up.
Mhm.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, this is, again, I feel like it would be a huge contribution to our community with bodybuilding. So thinking about that.
Have you considered going into like more holistic approach, like a naturopathic doctor, something like that?
Like a DO. So instead of an MD, I would be more along the lines of a DO. Yeah.
Where are you going to be at in 5 years, Natalia?
That's a good question. I have so many huge dreams and goals that I don't even know where I'm going to be in 5 years. I try to take like year by year so I can, not just
Where
keep
where
over
would you want
things that-
where would you want to be though? What's
Of
your
course, I would love
what's
to-
your future goal?
I want to be, of course, Miss Olympia. I want to get there, and I don't want to just win the title. I want to represent my category like never be, like nobody has ever done before in women's physique.
I
For
think you're
example,
already doing that. I think you're already doing that.
I am, but I believe like carrying the title of Miss Olympia, I'll be able to just like do much more in terms of how many people I will be able to reach and how much I will be able to do for the industry. Because if you see like an example, Arnold, when Arnold Schwarzenegger came to US, he didn't speak English. He was young. He had like, if you see how much he did for the sport, the legacy that he created, that's what I want to do.
Right.
I try to see myself as like a female. I say this like in a humble way, but I see what he has done for the sport, and I want to do something huge like he's done. I have time, and I started early, so I think I have time to continue doing that. And I really want to do like I want to have shows under my name. I want to promote shows like Adrea said. I want to do everything I can to show the whole world what our sport's about, because it's not just me competing like, oh, Natalia is an athlete. No, Natalia is an ambassador. Natalia is the representative of the sport. That's how we're going to grow together. It's not just me. A lot of people like they focus on just themselves. They want the like attention to them, but they are not thinking about growing as a whole. Seeing like Lauralie here, everything she's doing, all the shows, the appearances, what Dre is doing, what you're doing, DJ. You're not even competing anymore. Look how much you're giving back to the sport. You're always like doing more than even athletes who are currently competing. So that's what I want to do. I don't know in 5 years, but long term, I want to make a big impact in the industry as an athlete and ambassador.
Awesome. Laura, you last?
I love that, because I think as for me, as of right now, like my closest goals to achieve is being Miss Olympia, right? As of right now, I'm growing every single day into things, but I think looking at Adrea, that has been winning now 3 shows. Look at her now, like it now came to her back again, that spark of going back to school, but for what though? For the purpose of getting back to the sport in a better way, which I love. I think the sports evolve so fast, and there will always be different ways to bring back to the sport. So to tell you what I want, like as title wise, as Miss Olympia wise, I want to win 3 times the Arnold, 3 times the Olympia. That's my goal. That's my dream. That's what I envision myself to do. In the meantime, there will be so much, because once I get a title, I'm not going to sit home and just like look at my trophy. My trophy is going to be somewhere nice, but there will be so much more coming at me, because I want to do so much more. I want to bring so much to my platform. But like I'm bringing bringing, you know, if I see someone at the gym and they come at me like to help them pose, that's Olympia for me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like I'm winning every single day when I get that, because I'm having that opportunity to help someone only because I've proved myself and I've done what I love. So, yeah.
All right, awesome. Next question from Marie Bouyu. I hope, I'm sorry if I messed that up. Her question is exercises for upper glutes. I'm a huge fan of all y'all. So I'm gonna start with Andrea. What is your favorite exercise for upper glutes, which I guess the females all want to know right now?
Absolutely. I mean, my favorite go-to is any variation of a cable kickback. My favorite probably is anything that would be on the bench. So anything that kind of where you get onto the bench, you tilt over, and you kick back with the ankle cuff. That's my favorite, because I mean, I feel like for me, I get a good squeeze like at the peak of the movement right there in that upper glute.
Now, glute specialist Lauralie.
Yeah.
That's why I'm sorry for saying it, but that's just the way I see it.
So since upper glute is a very small muscle, and to target it, it has to like right there when it almost makes you throw up type of thing. It's like the peak of the bicep, right? Like this. My favorite is reverse hypers on the Smith machine. So you like install yourself and you're basically like, it's a double kickback type of thing. Like imagine like
you lay on the bench
on my stomach,
right,
and then I push with my heels up and down.
Okay, so you don't think that the butt blaster would be it's not your first choice?
You mean the butt blaster is the kickback one, right?
No,
this might be before her time now. This might be before her time.
No. I'm talking. What's the name of the machine? Maybe I got the
hip
name.
Thrust.
The hip thrust. Yes.
Oh,
okay.
No, hip thrust.
Oh, the butt blaster was the.
There is the old butt blaster. Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's right. I was right about.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
It's the booty builder or the glute drive or all these variation of hip thrust is what builds the foundation. Like it's just the best glute exercise, but for all part. But if you want upper glutes, then you just focus on the squeeze at the top.
So lay flat on the stomach on the bench. Use the Smith machine for reverse.
Reverse hyper. Yeah.
That's. I wonder who came up with that for the first time, because somebody had to do it, and somebody watched it. I was like, this makes sense.
You know what it is? I'm sure it's like a girl that's probably like me in another life, but like a girl that did donkey kicks, you know, those donkey like kicks. And she was like, oh my God, why don't do like both at the same time? Lazy. And she found a way to do it at the same time instead of doing one leg and the other.
You can add resistance when you use the Smiths.
Yes.
You can't add much resistance when you do it any other way. You can have some, but it's better resistance with the Smith machine.
I'm reading something now. It's so funny. I said, could you ask Natalia if she would like to marry me? This is coming from Rui Philip. We're going to shout you out there. Here, what is your favorite, that's a question for all y'all, favorite pre and post-workout meal? Natalia, we're going to start with you. Your favorite pre and then post-workout meal.
My pre-workout meal, I usually do rice. I love rice with oatmeal on top of it, and it has to be cold.
Wait. Did I get that right? Oats and rice.
Yes.
You mix it.
But listen, the oats are raw. You don't cook the oats. You just get the rice. You put in the fridge. It's still cold. You get the oatmeal, you put on top. It's delicious.
I'm taking notes here.
Right, don't laugh. You're gonna try it, you're gonna like it, and you're gonna thank me later.
No, I believe you. I believe you.
I love you, sis.
That's what we should do after the Olympia, actually.
And what's your favorite post-workout? Let me see how you switch that around.
Japanese sweet potatoes and chicken and broccoli.
What's Japanese sweet potato? What's the difference?
Oh my gosh, it's a special type of sweet potatoes. It tastes completely different. It's much better. Like it's sweeter, but it's so crunchy and it's so delicious. I don't like the regular one. The orange.
Look at Laura. She's starting to get hungry.
Oh yeah.
You gotta try those. Try the Japanese potatoes. I literally buy this whole case of Japanese sweet potatoes.
You get them at Trader Joe's?
It's like, well,
Lauralie
What
about to do it.
Yes, them.
let me check.
Did you get them at Trader Joe's?
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987 and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
Yes, Trader Joe's or Whole Foods. They both have them.
Yeah, because I haven't seen them at Publix.
But we can carry them. Yeah, I tried that.
Laura's gonna get us some Japanese sweet potatoes.
I'll do it and I'll grab a picture and tag you all.
All right.
Yes,
What's
yes.
your favorite pre and post workout meal, Laura?
A pre-workout lean source of protein. If I'm like an hour, 30 minutes before my workout, fast carbs, so white rice, nothing, no fibers, no nothing really. And then post-workout, like a shake or nothing really fatty, just chicken and brown rice, I guess. Oatmeal, depends.
Yeah. So just
Sweet potatoes.
average normal foods. Nothing special.
Normal. No.
Yeah. And Andrea, anything special?
If it's off season, a really fun pre and post workout is apple pie. That's how I get through the whole pie in a day. I eat a little bit before I go train.
So that's not just a backstage thing before you go on stage. That's
No.
something that you love, apple pie.
It's my favorite. It's my absolute favorite.
I'm like
But
that.
like from
I'm
where? Like, do you make them?
No, I get them from Sam's Club, and they're like this thick.
Oh, I know. They have them at Costco too. They look the same. It's the same thing.
It's like a dish pizza. It's so.
Do you warm it up or you eat it cold?
Yes. Oh,
You
yes.
gotta warm it. Hey, you gotta warm it up and throw a scoop of vanilla ice cream in there.
I don't do it dairy, so I don't do the ice cream, but I do heat it up.
Don't you get hungry?
Yeah.
But if I'm in prep, I will do my go-to is 8 ounces of oats cooked. None of that dry stuff. Sorry, sis, I love you, but that sounds like I don't know. That's it different.
I'm gonna make. You're gonna like.
Okay.
You know how people go finish yours first, and I'll tell you something.
And then after I work out, it's usually either grilled chicken or ground beef with sweet potato.
Yeah.
Okay. Also,
Japanese
normal things. You know how people in Europe, I don't know about Europe, but Germany, you know how we used to eat the oats? Cooking the oats, I thought that's an American thing. We just put the oats in the milk and just eat them like this. You don't cook them.
Like cereal?
Yeah, like cereal.
No.
Raw.
Yes. Oh, that's how I grew up.
No, I grew up with my dad do it on the casserole, on the hot pot with like fatty milk and maple syrup and brown sugar.
Yes, absolutely.
Slow stir for like 20 minutes with full of love. That's
old fashioned oats.
I remember.
Old fashioned take longer to cook.
Now check this out. I remember my very first show. I had no idea what I was doing. I had somebody tell me, at the last 3 days before the show, you stop the water, you don't drink. I didn't drink for almost 3 days. It was almost literally 3 days. And then you got to carb up. And he told me to carb up with oats or cornflakes. So now, drink no water for 1 day, and then the next day trying to eat raw oats. I was eating raw oats and chewing cornflakes with no water.
Oh, that's awful.
That was my first carbing up. That's how
How was your digestion?
Oh,
Huh? Everything
How
was
was your
everything was off.
Did you go to the bathroom at all? You're just like constipated.
I didn't. After 2 days, I didn't pee no more. There was nothing.
oh my gosh.
I was dry. I was really dry. My mouth was dry too. I cut my gums from eating dry cornflakes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was my first stop. That was Germany back then. Everybody said, "Don't drink." You don't drink.
But during these 3 days, were you training or just
No,
resting?
no, 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 no. You carb up, you don't train. That was another thing. Once you start carving
Yeah.
up, you don't train no more. So yeah.
Yes.
But that was. Don't ever listen. Whoever listens, don't ever do that. That's
Right.
not good. That's
Right.
not good. That's not
Do
good.
Here's
you
what
still
not
subscribe
to
to that? Do you still believe that once you start carving up, you shouldn't train?
No, I you know what? I been trained all the way to the show.
Same, I do
And
too. I've trained
and we
yeah,
did the same with Rami. We did the same with Rami. Which Rami kept everything in. He did his cardio. If it wasn't for us telling him don't do cardio, he would have done cardio Friday morning before prejudge.
That was-
Yeah,
No,
but
I
because
think that's
I believe
something
that once you're in a mode where everything is working, don't stop it, because we used to train all the way to those 3 days, and then now you stop training. Now you got 24 hours all day to think about what could go wrong. Stay in your mood, stay in the same groove, and just keep going. That way you don't have too many things in your head that things that make you just do some mistakes and shit can go wrong in the last day. You know how that works.
Cortisol is very real.
Yeah,
Let's just be
yeah,
like that.
yeah, absolutely. Here's another one. That's a good one. Best advice you wish you knew earlier in your fitness competing journey. That message is coming from Julie Dengler. The best advice. I'm going to start with Natalia. Something that you wish you knew earlier. She's just so perfect. She's just so perfect. She can't think of nothing.
No, I think the best advice was just to not focus so much at the end. I don't know how to put that in words. It's like I see a lot of people, they're going through the prep and they're not enjoying the process. They are so concerned and so focused at the day of the show that they stop talking to everybody, that they start living, treating people around them so bad without even noticing. That if I had an advice to give to someone, would be just to learn how to enjoy and embrace these moments, to learn to be comfortable even when you are in uncomfortable situations. Because that's gonna happen, there will be times that you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be like, I am tired. Even though I never said I thought about giving up. I had tough days. Everybody has had them. But one thing that I always tell myself is try to learn that these moments are just gonna get you closer to where you wanna be. So I always tell myself, it's not really true, but it just helps me with my mindset. It's the more I suffer, the better we look. I always repeat that to myself. So if I'm suffering, I'm not really suffering, but I'm hungry or I'm tired or whatever it is. I'm that's what I need. That's what's pushing me to be better. So my best advice would be just to, try to enjoy as much as you can, because that's going to make everything easier. And the process is going to be much more enjoyable and fun, and not just be I have to do that. No, change your mindset to, I get to do that. You're healthy. You have the potential. You have everything working for you. You just need to go ahead and do it.
All right. Lauralie, best advice you wish you knew earlier in your career.
I mean, I think the reason why Natalia took a couple seconds is kind of I wish I knew nothing, because everything that I went through helped me to where I am right now, and it built my mindset, it built myself, it built everything. But I agree with her. I think people are missing out on the journey itself so much, and I don't know if it's Instagram. Thank God I started before Instagram, because I fell in love with training. I fell in love with the process, and I just think, one, enjoy the process as much as you can. You're gonna learn so much, and the happier you are doing what you do, the better your body is going to respond. So let go of the things you can control and control the things that you can control. And Natalia says, you have hard days and you have very suffering days where it hits you hard. I remember going to bed, you can't sleep because your stomach it's so bothering. But I'm okay, I can't wait to take a picture tomorrow, because I know I'm going to dial in really cool, and this is what sets you. And then it just create that momentum. And the sport is so great. You learn so much, but I think people are missing out when they're not doing it for themselves.
Andrea, what about you?
I would say, if I can, say there was one thing I wish I would have known, it would be to find ways to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So, for instance, like every single prep, on those days where I'm really not feeling like going to, the gym to, train, I plan days to go to different gyms, to this gym, and it's not convenient. It's not really comfortable. When I get there, it's game on. It's game on, because I put in the effort to get there. So planning and kind of foreseeing for when that shows up, because it's not a matter of like if, it's a matter of when. You're going to have those days where, you just need a different shift. You need to put yourself in a different environment, and you need to do something that's going to force you to take the action that you need to take. So I would say, I wish I would have known like how valuable it is to start planning and preparing for those types of days. Because again, as an early amateur, I had one gym membership, and that was kind of like, okay, this is where I go. But yeah, the more I started to venture out, and different gyms have different equipment, right? So now I keep certain gyms in rotation, like keeping that 3D effect to my muscles, to me, is a part of that equation. So yeah, I pre-plan for that now every single prep.
Awesome.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
What about you, DJ? Tell us your advice.
Oh, I said this already 100 times. If I could turn back the time, after I turned pro, I would have not chased size and would have stuck to my guns.
Fair.
That would have been it. Because I tried to chase size because Ronnie was winning, and everybody, I thought, in order to be up there, you got to be just as big or as big as possible. And that kind of ruined my physique, I want to say. And that's why if I do back then what I know today, I would just like, no, let me stick to my guns and just stay and just work on the quality. That's basically it.
One of the things that I'm so happy about the sport right now is how clear Tyler, Sandy, they're making so clear.
Clear message, exactly.
Even bikini, that was probably like the worst about, oh no, bikini is just about, they don't really know. It's just about, no, it's very, what they're asking for the last, I want to say 2.5 years now, it's solid, rock solid.
Yeah. But you have to, but you know what? But because you just mentioned it, bikini, I think, is also the hardest category to judge.
Of course.
It's because there's so many.
Yeah, I don't want to say of course, but yeah.
And there's so many of them, and then it's not like in bodybuilding or in physique where you judge individual body parts on top of it. Of course, you do it the same with bikini, but it's what I'm trying to say, right?
Of course.
It's different as a bodybuilder because you can literally expose someone standing next to them, as in a bikini, because the standard is closer. There's more of them. They're all beautiful, and that's why I think it's just something special for like you to stand out in such a huge category, and therefore we know who's special and we know who's winning. Now, one last question for all you before I wrap this up. Who is your biggest inspiration, or who was your favorite athlete when it comes to your category? Let's say Natalia, we start with you, in women physique, or who was your inspiration in the sport?
In women's physique.
Period. Could have been maybe a guy. Who knows? Who inspired you the most when it comes to fitness and bodybuilding?
Wow, that goes back a long time. Like when I start training.
You're not even that old.
No, I know, but I'm saying like I used to watch everything about like Dennis Wolf, Dennis Chang, even you, DJ, Jay Cutler. I love Kevin DeVron's mindset, Lee Haney, all of these like old school bodybuilders. They had the most, like, I have so much respect for the mindset and the hard work that all of you guys put in. And that's how I started like getting to the sport, watching you guys training and like videos of you guys just talking about your lives and how you approach life. This is like the biggest inspiration ever to me, to see like what you guys been through, like your whole story. I don't even know how many times I watch your documentaries and your interviews and your podcasts and everything. And I'm like, this is crazy, you know, like you came from another country, like, I don't know. I don't have just one. It would be very hard for me to say just one, but it comes from all the old school bodybuilders who just made like the foundation of what bodybuilding is for me.
Awesome.
And even like I
Thank
cannot
you.
not mention
I appreciate
Arnold
that.
Schwarzenegger.
I'm glad. I'm really happy to hear that even a female physique category, you know, looked up to us back in the days. And especially at your age, because you're so young. You know, I was thinking you're thinking 5-7 years back. You know, it's got to be somebody from that era. But that's good. It's good to know. It's good to know.
You know what, funny? I just want to say that very quick because when I start training, I had like this big poster of Dorian Yates on my wall in my living room or in my bedroom. And I would just sit there and be like staring at it, like looking at all the muscle insertions of the muscles and everything, just studying the muscle. And my mom would pass by, she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like,
So
"Mom,
what's your
how
fetish?
incredible this is. I'm not, yes." She was scared. She's like, "I think you might need some help. Like, I want to take you to therapy." I'm like, "No, mom, I'm just admiring because look how incredible you can do that to your body, you know, by training and eating and resting. And it's just like it's in your power to become like that." So, like, a lot of people said, "Well, but why are you looking up to males? Like, you want to look like them?" And I'm like, even if I wanted to, I don't want to, but I would never be able to reach that. So I want to see how they train to try to emulate them. And if I get to 1/4 of what they look, I will be fine, you know, like to build muscle. Because people don't realize, okay, you go to the gym and you go like very light because you're afraid of building muscle. It's not that easy, you know. But now if you see how these guys train and you try to do what they do, you might be able to add some muscle and learn something. So I want to learn from them and not just some random person or somebody.
Yeah. Laura, who was your inspiration? Or is, or was?
My like all-time inspiration is Flex Lewis, for so many reasons. Just what he's achieved, what he stays so true, so humble to himself. Just the work he put in. He's just the truth. Like he just walked by his truth. He knew what he was coming here for, what he stands for. Just now, you know, what he's done for his family. Obviously, like I became close to him because I trained at Dragons and with Ali for a while, but Flex has been my inspiration since the beginning, since my first Olympia. Before that, obviously, I was looking up to Angelica, Latoria, Sid, figure girls, you know, that again, like Natalia, they just have bigger muscle, like they know how to train. And Candice, Lewis, but it's when you get more and more into the sport, you have to see beyond. All these champions are champions for a reason. It's not just because they have obviously amazing physique, it's obvious, but it's the whole mindset. If you talk with Sid, trust me, you understand why she's there, why she keeps repeating and over again, why she's so undeniable. You speak with Oksana Grishna, you see her lose, you see her win, but to me, she's always going to be like a winner. You know what I'm saying? Like Whitney Jones, like all these champions inspires me for a reason, just because they're so human. Like they're so, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah.
Just like Linda Murray.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Always the same. Yes, never changed.
She's one of the girls, one of the athletes that I was always watching, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you know.
That might be Andrea's inspiration right there. And Linda.
No, I mean, I trained at the gym, or train still at the gym that Linda came out of. So, you know, 2 Miss Olympias in one gym, and people used to call me Little Linda. She said, "Don't let them call you that no more." And I mean, when I was about 13 years old, they had this huge painting of her. I mean, it's an artist actually hand painted this of her on the wall. So, I mean, to be able to walk into the gym and see Linda on the wall and know that, you know, she came from the exact same place I'm training in, kind of gave me a little bit more oomph to go after, you know, even though my goal then was figure, it still was like, okay, if Linda can do it and she's, you know, so highly spoken of, you know, then there's hope. It's a possibility. Yeah,
Well,
Linda for me is hands down. Hands down. I mean, I love a lot of other athletes, but yeah, Linda for me is my
so
number one.
nice too, like so
She's
nice.
very approachable. If you have any questions to talk to her, she's always open to talk, and she always like giving
Still
advice.
today,
she's a
where
true.
she had
She's
all
a,
the reasons
yeah.
to just be like, "Who are you?" She has
She's
all
a,
the reasons.
she's
but
a
she
true
does it.
champ. She's a true champ, and she
Yeah.
stays. She's
And
never.
so wonderful.
She's never waved off. She's been this way since I first
She's
met
an
her.
honest mentor who really enjoys.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she's a multiple Miss Olympia winner for a reason. Not only did she have the best physique, she had a great head, and to this day she gives so much back to the sport. And at that note, I'm going to end this by saying, you know, I can only imagine how many millions of women out there looking at you guys as an inspiration, you know what I mean? And that's got to feel good too, because you guys do a tremendous job. And I'm looking forward to the Olympia this year. And I really, really wish, first of all, I wish we're going to have that dessert after the Olympia. And I wish I could have dessert with 3 Miss Olympias in December. Okay, guys, thank you guys for making the time. I know you guys are busy. Thanks for coming on. And I really want to do this again in the future. So hopefully I can get you guys back on to talk about, you know, some other things in bodybuilding or whatever happens, some other topics. Thank you all. I appreciate you. I love every single one of y'all. And I wish you guys all the best. Stay healthy, stay fit, and God bless you. Stay safe.
You too.
All right, we going for the Olympia. Let's go.
Yes, we are. Let's do one more time. Let's do one more time to just set up the whole, okay, who's getting the apple pies, who's getting, you know, and set it up right before the Olympia, okay?
I got a special request. Like when we go to do the dessert, you got to find me some birthday cake.
Oh, you said birthday in December?
It will be my birthday again on Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll just put a candle. I bring the candle and we'll, you know, we get the apple pie.
Yeah.
It's going to be apple pie and candle.
All right.
I will make you a Japanese sweet potatoes cake.
All right.
Okay?
Perfect.
Ooh.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
I love you all.
Bye.
Take care. God bless.
Thank you.
Peace.